Okay guys, I'm going to go to Ask Scruff, and it's a question for Peter. And it's quite a lengthy paragraph, but I'll break it down into what I see. And it's based on prop, and more so the high stakes in prop. Now it's about how to pass it, expectations, etc. Now, the one thing that I see straight away is I choose trade from one of 5 Forex pairs, 3 majors, 2 crosses. You might be spreading yourself a bit thin. A good way is to look at a singular product that you can be used to day in, day out, because you've got no room for error on this. And that way, at least you'll be in the heartbeat of the market. So something like euro dollar, it's not so fast, but you can move along. If you're going on pound JPY, it's a bit faster, you've got to be aware. But if you're jumping from one to the next, you're going from a high volume product to a low volume product, you might sort of start putting the wrong trade idea in. So I would stick to probably just one. So that's the first thing that I pick up on. Now, you've set yourself a stall of doing 10 weeks to get through phase 1, 5 weeks through phase 2. That will break down the daily target really well. But there is a little bit of a sticker, and I'll come on to that in just a second. Okay? And get funded one day, etc., and then go through your requirements of the 0.5%. Now that's the bit I'm going to show you in just a tick. Now, it also says I could broaden your assets. I wouldn't. One of the biggest failures in this industry is oversizing, overtrading, and too many assets to look at. When you're just starting, look at singular assets and get used to it. Then add to it slowly. Don't think, well, I'm doing okay, I'll just chuck another one into the puzzle. It becomes a little bit difficult to do that. And again, it comes down to the fact you've got nowhere to go. All right, so you need to be used. And because your targets are small, in other words, 10 weeks to do your first phase, which is, well, on the cheapest one is 400 quid. So you're looking at 40 quid a week. So if you're doing 40 quid a week, divided by 5, it's like 8 quid a day, you know. That's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. Okay. Now, it says you're not comfortable trading indices, gold, crude, oil, and you don't really like the idea of increasing the lot size. It's not a problem. You shouldn't. You should just trade to what you're comfortable with, and you're fine. And if it takes you 11 weeks to pass, outstanding. And if you do it in 8, brilliant. But at least you've got a benchmark, so don't panic on this. And I guess I'm looking for an additional trade or 2 in the same day or take. I could look for additional trades or 2 on the same day and take a quick profit. No. That is forcing the market and chasing the market, and a recipe for disaster. And certainly if you're looking for quick profit, it'll just lead you up the wrong path. And enter again when the market moves against me. I've done similar things, but what you got to remember is I've done this a long time, and I'll see things that you don't. So there's nothing wrong with having a trade idea that is a singular trade idea. In other words, I'm going from here to here. I take a profit as it moves for me, see it stalls, come out of the market altogether, let it relax, and then re-enter the market on the same trade idea. That I'll go with. But once the trade idea is complete, don't look to go get another one. Okay? So that's something. Maybe you have 10 madness entries instead of 5. Again, it's one of those scenarios of, I like madness on 5, 20% of position, because I understand it, I can work with it. Madness is personal to the person that trades it. If you're comfortable with 10, it's fine. And you are reducing your exposure, but you also have a tendency to oversize the stop when really the stop needs to be where the stop needs to be, because you'll be prolonging the pain if you put 10 in. Okay? And trade Bitcoin. Well, if you're new to it, Bitcoin is is a kicker. And then obviously 3 days, 0.5% over several weeks. Not sure how to approach it. Right, okay. So, quite a bit to unravel, wasn't there? If we look at this in basic terms, you're doing this in 2 steps. Now, I think you're quite sensible in taking your time to do it. Don't try and pass this thing straight away. The problem with it is going to be the 3 points, all right? And what that means is you've got to have 3 profitable days at 0.5%, okay? Now, let me just pull up a spreadsheet and we'll just whack this in. So if your full target is 400 and you've got to do 0.5% per day, that means for 3 days you have to achieve 25 quid. Okay, now not only are you trying to achieve 25 quid, it's 25 quid net profit. Okay, so you've got to take in your commissions as well. On, say, euro dollar, it's about 20p per pound or something like that. Is it 20p per pound? Or it's 2 quid a fiver, I think it is. So it's around that mark. So you've got to cover out whatever the commission is. Okay, now the other issue you have is this bit. Now let me see if I can pull this into shot. Your drawdown, you may have 10%. Where's that sheet at? Okay, so you may have a 10% here, but your maximum is only 5%. Okay, so if you have a 5% loss on any day, you lose the whole account. So really your drawdown is 5%. So let's put 5% into there. Now this changes the dynamic somewhat, because it means what you have to play with each day is actually 250 quid. All right, so it's that. So that's what you're essentially going to be sizing to. Now there's different ways you can do it. You can go your £1,000, £2 1,000, whatever, or 10p per 100. If you do, say, 20p for each 100, the maximum size you can enter this market is 50 pence. Okay, that's the most that I would recommend that you take this on. Okay, and that's still pushing the boat out somewhat. It is oversizing, but you've got nowhere else to go. Then all you have to do is work out what you're going to do each day. So if you work it for 20 pips, count it down, that'll give you 10 quid a day based on the 50. That's above your target of about 8 quid a day, and it'll start moving forward. But for 3 days, you're going to have to find some perfect scenarios to do that 25 quid. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit difficult, because you've got 2 trains of thought. Even if you get this up to sort of add 400 quid into the pot, the 0.5% isn't going to change that much. You might have to do about 30 quid one day, 35 maybe. But you'll have had the buying power to do it. Okay, in other words, you'll have increased your pot. The other train of thought is just get it out of the way straight away. So you go into it looking to kill off 25 quid and try and do it relatively quick, because that way, because it's a percentage of the account size, it'll be smaller. It's the yin and the yang, and it's why the high stakes is quite difficult, because if you don't do it, you don't pass. Once you've passed, then what happens with that is you don't move to the next level till you've done your 3.5%. And if you're happy just chugging along, fine, you'll still get paid. So the rule of thumb here would be Look to trade a singular asset that you're comfortable with, 2 at best, not 5. Control the trade and try and let at least one of them keep running. And then you might get your sort of 0.5%. That would help you immensely. Now, if you see a super setup, maybe increase your position size slightly just to get you over that 0.5% and then take your foot off the gas. But don't fall into the trap of, I'll take an extra trade just to get there. If it doesn't happen on that day, it doesn't matter. You've always got tomorrow, and you've got 10 weeks to find 3 0.5% days. And my advice is just take it really slow. So the idea of doing about a tenner a day, yeah, it's about right. Okay. If you stick to like work on 10 quid a day, it's not that much of a stretch to get it to 25 if you have a good day. But as soon as you've got your 3 under the belt, take your foot off the gas and then just steady along. And I think that's one of the easier ways to do it. I'll bring it up in the lives. By all means, talk to me about it and we'll see if we can get you through it. Okay, catch you soon.